Welcome back. South Africa has ushered in the new year in Johannesburg. The celebrations continued long into the night, in fact, into the early hours of this morning. Law enforcement officials were hard at work, ensuring residents were responsible while having fun. So let's get an update then. I'm joined by JMPD spokesperson Wayne Minnaar. Wayne, you don't seem to get any sleep around this time. Give me a sense of the magnitude of what you were watching. Happy New Year first. But talk to me about the magnitude of what you were watching overnight and how the night went for Joburgers.
Good morning. No, thanks. Happy New Year also to you. I can say I think the traffic management plan was excellent, and the deployment jointly by JMPD and the other law enforcement agencies, that helped tremendously. And also the huge numbers of officers on duty, also working together with the security personnel of the security companies which were working. And the FNB Stadium, roads were cordoned off from as early as 6 a.m. yesterday.
Yeah.
And by the time people had started to come into the stadium, already there were officers on duty. When we were at the Mary Fitzgerald Square where the concert took place, there too roads were blocked off from 6 a.m. on the perimeter of the square. By 5 p.m. when the concert started, then already there were a huge contingent of officers on duty. Even at Cornhill, the Afropunk concert of music concert, there was also huge numbers of officers and also security personnel. They worked very well together. Soweto too, at the Orlando Stadium, where there was also a church service. There too we had Mookie Street blocked off, and by and large it went well.
So talk to me about areas of concern. You always considered over the decades the area of Hillbrow, yes, the inner city in Johannesburg, as an area of concern, largely because of, you know, how people tend to behave while enjoying themselves in the evening, especially on New Year's Eve. It used to be a big focus of yours. How did it go in Hillbrow and the inner city?
It went well. In fact, midnight was a beautiful spectacle of wonderful color of firework display. Was really nice to watch. There was no really very serious incidents of fridges or tables being thrown from the buildings. So really that kind of behavior stopped. So I think the focus has now moved towards celebrating in a good manner rather than previously.
But this incident in Melville, which I imagine that your team was also involved with in sort of assisting the SAPS as a fellow law enforcement agency, yes, that puts a blot on things, doesn't it? What happened there?
Yes, it does. Unfortunately, that incident didn't happen, and it will have to be investigated so that the perpetrators can be found and charged for the murders and attempted murders.
Right. And talk to me about by law enforcement. You know, there's a whole issue around the responsible use of fireworks and the likes, and also people deciding that once they've had one or two drinks, I need to go see my friend in another part of Johannesburg. That's a real thing. How busy were you on that front?
Manu, I think we had very good compliance when it came to drinking and driving, because the arrests were not many, though the arrest statistics will still be consolidated, but by and large it went very well with, yes, a few incidents or complaints of fireworks and loud noise outside of the times which was permitted. There is permitted time for fireworks on New Year's Eve as well as on New Year's Day. But we can say that it was a good evening in Johannesburg.
All right, Wayne, I'm glad to hear that. Thank you so much for coming through so early on the first day of the year. Wayne Minnaar speaks on behalf of the Johannesburg Metro Police Department.